Really interesting piece in The Athletic today talking about Lamar Jackson. And they quoted several NFL executives anonymously and about Lamar, about why he doesn't, have any offers from other teams outside of Baltimore. And here's what two of the executives said, Rob. Here's one. We all agree the player, Lamar, is not able to win in the playoffs. But where is your better answer? That's his. You don't have one. They should have committed to Lamar 2 years ago, meaning the Ravens. Instead, they disenfranchised their franchise quarterback. They are the Green Bay of the AFC North. Couldn't have a relationship with the top guy. Another executive, Rob, talked about Lamar's injury history, and that's one reason he's not gotten the deal. He says this: the issue with Lamar is the way he plays. No one has ever really played that way for a long time, and you have to completely change your team to do it. That's fine on a rookie deal, but you are not doing it at $50 million after 2 injury-plagued years. If Patrick Mahomes were in Lamar's shoes, he would have 30 offer sheets, all guaranteed.
I think that's a bit harsh. About Lamar, I get the injuries and I get it, and he hasn't won or whatever. The guy is a special player and has won 75, whatever the number is. Was it 75%? 74% of his games. And that's in the NFL. If you're winning at that clip, you give yourself a chance. And I think that's the big thing. And it's not like there's a gazillion quarterbacks laying around, Chris. There's 15, 12 teams that would in a heartbeat, if they could upgrade or get somebody else, would. So I hear that, and it just feels bad to me to then like nitpick the guy to death, and he's not this and he's not that, and that's what happens in negotiation. You talked about it before. Right. When you deal with people and it comes time to money, that's what they do. They try to nitpick you and tell you how terrible you are to try to get you to be convinced that you're not worth the money that you think you're worth. And I think it's and that's why, and that, I'm not gonna say that's why, but I think it's misguided. I think he's a special guy that if he's healthy and has the right pieces around him, could have a chance to do something big, because we haven't seen that guy. And the thing that we talked about, I think you've mentioned before, is most of his injuries have had nothing to do with him running the football.
Both of his injuries have been in the pocket. Right. But you know this, Rob, from the beginning, I didn't think a running quarterback, a guy that runs primarily or half the time or whatever, could really have a long career in the NFL. And he has thus far proven that wrong to some degree. Now, he has been hurt, whether it's running or in the pocket. Not the way we thought, though. Right, but he has been hurt. I mean, quarterbacks don't generally get hurt that much. So when you miss 5 games in each of the last 2 seasons, that's a lot. That's 10 games out of, 34 games. And so, look, I do think Lamar is a very good quarterback. Like you said, he's won 74% of his games with the team that when he's out wins 31% of the games.
Right, they don't win.
So he is proven to be valuable in that regard. And I hope, if I'm Indianapolis, where they've been, Rob, they might never draft another franchise quarterback. I mean, teams really go a long time without having a franchise quarterback.
Yep.
How long did Cincinnati go? I mean, if you do you even call Boomer Esiason? He was really good, but between him and Joe Burrow, that was a long time.
Right.
It's not like we just going to get another one within a few years. Look at Indianapolis. So I think they should go for them.
It doesn't happen that often. And as many guys that come out and you think that, okay, this guy's going to be your guy. I was in Detroit when they got Joey Harrington, Chris, and he was supposed to, they drafted him high, thinking that he was going to be the quarterback of the future. That didn't work out. There's been a lot.
You know how it is, Rob. Every draft, it's like these quarterbacks get touted. I mean, we're going to look back, and I don't know who it's going to be. But I mean, everybody's raving obviously about Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. I really love Stroud. I like Bryce Young. I get it. But people are raving about Anthony Richardson too and Will Levis. Maybe one or two of them or more is not going to be that good. So Lamar is a sure thing. That said, Rob, look, some of the criticism is valid. The criticism of missing the games is valid. And the criticism of if he begins to lose some of his athleticism and speed, even if it's just a tenth of a second off the 40-yard dash time, that could make a difference. And we talked about running backs. I mean, he doesn't get hit quite like a running back, but that's why their careers aren't as long. And so with the quarterback that runs primarily, you do wonder if he loses anything, like, is he going to be the same guy 5 years from now as he is right now?
But I also believe that this isn't just about the dollar figure and signing this guy. It's about the guarantee. Like, I think that that's more so because when you talk about the money that Baltimore supposedly offered him, it ain't that big of a difference, Chris, like 40 or 50 mil. Like, it's not. You're not like you're $100 million apart where you go, man, we can't get in that ballpark, or he's out of our league. It's not that far.
No, we've agreed. I mean, the difference between offering a guy 175 and 200,
right,
guaranteed, fully guaranteed, is really nothing, especially when you spread it over a contract.
Exactly. You spread it over a few years. It doesn't feel to me like it feels to me like it's more about the guarantee, and this is the way to try to convince people that he's not worth the guarantee by knocking his career and knocking what he's done.
Well, some of it, Rob, we talked about it, and you've harped on it. Lamar, because of the injuries, because he only has one playoff victory in 4 games, because he's not an elite passer, he might not be the guy to push for the fully guaranteed. If this were Mahomes, I do agree. Mahomes, if he really pushed it and demanded it, how you not fully guarantee him?
They had to, Chris, and
if he would have pushed for it, right?
I don't know how you would be able to not. And he definitely would be in a different position because
if Burrow does it, I don't know what Burrow and the Bengals agreed, Rob, not to talk publicly about their negotiations, which I get it, is smart. But you wonder, is Burrow, if he pushed for it, I would think he'd get it.
I don't know why you wouldn't if I was a quarterback. I'm serious. Like, it's out there. There are guys who have gotten it. Cincinnati was, they couldn't with Marvin Lewis, Chris. They went to the playoffs. Remember, Marvin Lewis did a good job there for a long time, but they couldn't. They were 0-7 in the playoffs during his run. Remember, they couldn't win a playoff game. But they won a lot of games, and he did a good job, Marvin Lewis. It's a shame. But my point is, Joe Burrow has reinvigorated that franchise. And if you don't make him happy, what are you doing? What business are you in?